Today's episode of Outside the Rack is brought to you by Kinetic Performance, the makers of the Gymaware. In today's world of strength and conditioning, data collections become the utmost of importance, and that's exactly where Gymaware separates itself from the competition. Because when we're sitting there and looking to collect data, what data are you actually collecting? And are the numbers you're looking at fitting into the exercises that you're utilizing? And even more so, are they going to answer the questions that you're looking for? Looking at different ways that you are moving the barbell through peak and mean, both velocity and power, is really what separates Gymaware from the competition. Being able to understand what your ballistic exercises are doing separate to what your strength exercises are doing really allows you to program at a much more specific level for your athletes. So hop on over to kinetic.com.au to see what Evan and his team have in store for you today. The world of strength and conditioning is filled with some fantastic practitioners that are always searching for more. But more what? What are strength and conditioning coaches searching for to better their ability to prepare their athletes? Well, what about cutting edge information? Or a place where you can find different opinions from forward-thinking coaches on what you're doing, how you're doing, and try to get feedback to be better for your athletes? Or what about a place where you'll find like-minded coaches that can provide solid coaching advice and career development for you as you progress through your career as a strength and conditioning professional? Well, this is exactly why we built the Strength Coach Network. You'll have access to exclusive monthly content on top of the sensationally active forum that we have where you can communicate with coaches all over the world to find those answers that you're looking for to help you be a better practitioner for your athletes. So make sure you hop on over to strengthcoachnetwork.com/CVASPs, that's strengthcoachnetwork.com/CVASPS, and get your 48-hour trial for only $1. I look forward to seeing you in the Strength Coach Network.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the 34th episode of Outside the Rack, brought to you by Kinetic Performance, the makers of Gymaware. In this show, we're just going to try to dive a little deeper into the minds of some of the top practitioners of the world of sport performance to learn a little bit more about who they actually are and how they got to where they are today. Today, we are joined by ALTIS's Performance and Innovation Manager, Matt Thome. Matt, thanks for being with us today, bro.
Thanks, Jay. Glad to be here.
Yeah, man. Always great to catch up. Before we get rock and rolling too much, brother, who is Matt Thome?
Well, as we just talked about off camera, dad, obviously, dad, husband, currently PhD student, which those three things right there are enough to try and juggle on a daily basis. Super difficult to kind of balance those things, but it's been a good challenge, good learning experience. From a professional standpoint, the reason why I started my PhD was really just to get better as a coach, as a strength coach. So to learn more about what I can do to whether it's inform my practice, inform what coaches are doing, just to continually improve decision making throughout the training process. So it's been a great learning experience so far, and I'm only really just getting started, it feels like.
Yeah, dude. And that's some challenging things, especially when you're trying to kind of cross that blurry line as to where we can and can't impact sport practice.
hmm Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's been great working with Robin Thorpe as well. He coming from 10 years of experience prior to ALTIS at Manchester United. So day-to-day basis working with him has been just such a good learning experience in terms of how to apply some of these principles in a practical way. So great conversations, great mentor for me.
That's awesome, man. And a guy who's bounced all over the country, been coaching at a bunch of different levels, a super inquisitive dude, a guy who's had a huge impact of everything we do here in CVASPs and is now trying to change his first name from Matt to Doctor. Learning has been important for you. So, if you wouldn't mind for us, describe a learning situation that brought about an epiphany in your career.
Yeah, I think that when I think about this, it's almost more so. Well, I think originally it's one instant uh, when I was there at Richmond with you, and then it's been something that's almost been a reoccurring theme that I've seen over and over again throughout uh, any aspect of training, whether it's strength development, conditioning, speed development, or sports science now as I'm digging into that. And it's really just keep things simple and don't forget about the essentials. It's easy to get carried away in what you're currently reading or what's new or what people are currently talking about. And I think you and I did this a few times, is that you sometimes need to slow down and go back and kind of reground yourself and say, what is the most important thing that we're doing? How can we accomplish that? Rather than let me add this and add that and add this. And before you know it, you have three different things that are kind of aimed toward one goal, when you could really simplify that if you went back to the foundations and kind of figured out what is most important, what is going to make these athletes better right now. So I think, like I said, it's been something that I definitely learned was an epiphany when we were working together, but then have seen over and over again.
Yeah, I think I can pretty much pinpoint the exact project we were working on too when that kind of hit.
Yeah.
It might have been a book that we were trying to translate that someone else might have made some money off of, and we'll just leave it at that. But yeah,
I'll
I
just
think
leave.
that
Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I don't want to get
Yeah.
specific with names, but yeah.
No, yeah, but yeah, that was no, and that's not just funny. That's not just funny because of the point. That's funny because of all of the stupid stuff that we were doing to try to figure all that out.
Yeah.
If
To
you
come back to
guys,
the beginning,
yeah,
basically.
yeah, like so for those listening, because we're having definitely an A/B conversation right now. Basically, what it was Matt and I decided, and this was back when I was in my 30s and way less gray and not nearly as fat, that we decided we were going to try some specific methods to see how they would fit. Um, and I probably almost died like four times during all of this. Like it was awful.
Yes.
It
Yes.
was oh gosh. But the moral of that story too is if you're not willing to try it to figure out how awful it is, you better not put it on paper for the kids you're training.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that's a great thing. And I was doing that, before coming to Richmond, but also learned even more from you too, is that like we got to try some of this stuff, and you learn a little bit about some, not just some of the logistics, but if things are even reasonable to put on paper with an athlete.
Reasonable is
Uh,
a great word. Yes. Oh gosh.
yes.
Oh, to be young
Yeah.
and dumb. But anyway, so you're also an inquisitive dude. I mean, obviously, right? Like you're studying for your doctoral degree. You know, a guy who has been really at the front lines of driving CVASPs and trying to help us all figure things out. So I'm fired up for this one, bro. If you could ask one question and you know you would get the answer, what would that be and why?
Yeah, this is something that I've thought of too, and there are so many questions. It's that this puzzle is never ending, which is what makes this feel great. Uh, but I, as I thought about this, something that's not necessarily training related is what's the best way that we can kind of create a collaborative performance team. And I'm thinking, I think back, most of my experience was obviously in college athletics, and you have a sport coach, you have sports med, and you have strength and conditioning as the three primary touch points for the athlete. How do we get those three groups of people working together in a collaborative way? What's the most uh, or what's the best way to approach that situation. I think it's a challenge that all of us have time to time, and I think that just being able to do that, we'd be able to tap into each other's expertise, each other's knowledge, and definitely improve the outcome if we were able to do that. So I think it's something that's probably a question that anybody working in college athletics or athletics at almost any level has right now. So I think that's an important one.
Yeah, dude, especially because I think that more often than not, like it's not a triangle. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like there's teams where like you have an awesome sports med practitioner and then you bump heads with the coach, or you have a great coach but the sports med practitioner maybe isn't the best. Or, there are times, believe it or not, even to people that are listening, that the sports med person's great and the head coach is great and the coaching staff's great, but the strength coach is kind of a blockhead.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So in some ways, it's definitely starts with the people, right? And then them actually wanting to collaborate, for sure. Um, and then, like you said, yeah, it's not always a triangle, or I mean, the triangle should shift. I think Charlie Weingroff talked about this last year at the seminar, also, right? Who's quarterbacking this this aspect of what the athletes are doing, who's taking the lead on this. So that triangle should shift kind of depending on what the current goal is, or just the time of day. All right, it's sport practice, or it's time for the athletes to be in the weight room, or they're rehabbing, or they're doing some recovery work in the athletic training room. So obviously it should shift to time, but having everybody on the same page is huge to continue to make that process move forward.
No doubt, man. No doubt. I like that whole idea of the ebbs and flows of the times during the day. I think Charlie said like everybody gets a chance to carry the ball or whatever it
Hmm.
was. But yeah, that was
Yeah,
a great talk too, man. That was a great talk.
yeah, it was.
Well, listen, Matt, let me get you out of here on this one, dude. Like a guy who's studious and coaching people and digging into all the research. I'm also really excited to hear what your escape is, especially because of the change in scenery and see how that might have changed it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Uh, it's changed it a little bit. In Michigan, I would have said probably getting out and mountain biking or hiking, snowshoeing, in that climate. Here,
Snow
uh,
something.
snow
Snow
something.
something.
Yes, yes, just for 9 or 10 months of the year, up there. Here, really lucky. Phoenix has been awesome. My wife and I have really enjoyed it with sun every day. So it makes it easy to get outside and do some of those things. So really, for me, it's still probably going on a hike, getting out. Phoenix, if people haven't been here, uh, I didn't know this before moving here, is that there are lots of great hikes, mountains, within 10 minutes of drive of almost anywhere where you're at, where you can get out, do a quick hike, come back, whether that's by yourself or most of the time it's better. So getting out and doing that on the weekend, um, just fun thing. Maybe hitting up a brewery after too, which even though my daughter's 2 years old, she's still I want to go to the brewery and have a burger and hang out.
No
So
doubt.
it's funny. So yeah, escape, definitely getting out in nature, doing something like that. Maybe hitting up a brewery after.
Awesome, brother. Yeah, dude. And I wouldn't have guessed that, but yeah, I mean, like if you just look at the map, like where like Phoenix is kind of at the bottom of all of it, like I could see there being a ton of cool stuff. Now, I mean, of course, instead of like I don't know, what did you guys have in the UP? Like mammoths and like Sasquatches, like animals that no one else knew existed.
Yes,
Now you've got
yes.
snakes and scorpions.
I haven't seen a scorpion actually, but I guess they kind of sit in pockets. But we have seen a few rattlesnakes around. But it's only certain times a year, and you just gotta stay on the trail.
Yeah,
So
pass. I'll pass on that
yeah,
one. I'm good without rattlesnakes. But nah, man.
yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
always great to see you. Always great to chop it up, man. Appreciate your time. Glad you're kicking butt down there, homie.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, bro. Well, we'll be in touch real soon. Cheers.